Well, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Today is January 23rd, 2019, and you're here for our Wednesday Team Prosperity meeting. I know how valuable everybody's time is, so I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the time that people are taking to listen to the recording as well. I'm really excited to see Mike's presentation today, and I've got a few things that I wanted to go over. We'll go ahead and just jump into it. Grab my presentation here.
Alana?
Yeah.
Alana, I could not get on the free conference call, so I won't be able to see Mike's presentation because where it says join online meeting, when I click on that, the red circle with the line through comes up. Do you have any idea why?
Sorry, Lenny, I'm not sure how you got into actually my presenter call. That's a great question. Do you mind giving Mike a call just because I'm in the middle of actually the company recording right now, and we're actually on the recording together. Okay. Do me a favor, give Mike a ring, and he'll walk you in there, okay?
All right.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry, everybody. Let me, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to start it back over again. Hold on. I know you can mute everybody. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here, everybody. This is our Wednesday Team Prosperity meeting. Today is January 23rd, 2019, and it's been a really exciting start of the year. I'm really looking forward to Mike's presentation, and let me go ahead and grab my presentation as well, and we'll go ahead and get started. So it's a very, very exciting time to build a business here with us, and I want to remind everybody to think long-term, because your short-term thinking is killing your long-term goals. So it's really important to stay focused and realize that you're building something that is very, very special, and it's going to take some time to really get it to where you want it to be. I have some announcements that I wanted to go over. One of the biggest things that's happened this week is our business presentation meeting 1 video, which is the longer video, has now been shortened down to 20 minutes, which is about 2/3 of the length that it was before. So now both prerequisite videos together are only about 24 minutes long if somebody's looking at this amazing opportunity. That makes it a lot easier for people to get through, and all of the important information is still there, which is great. The other thing I wanted to talk about is to never stop building your database. That's actually what we do every single day, you know, put names in the CRM, resolve leads, and through that resolution, we're finding great business partners such as yourselves, clients, referral sources, etc. So through that lead resolution, you're going to find your next great business partners and your next clients. And while you're doing that, keep in mind that not everybody is going to be the right fit for the business, but everybody needs living benefits. So everybody needs to know how money works, and everybody needs that protection and that education. So while you're building your database and doing stuff in the CRM, keep that in mind. You know, don't wait until something's happened to someone that you love. You know, share the news about what we're doing, about our powerful products like living benefits. Really, really important, and definitely, you know, practice what I preach. So all of my friends and family have heard about living benefits. They have living benefits if they can qualify. It's a big, big revolution right now in the product cycle, and very exciting. And we are at the right place at the right time. You could see last year, these are all of the new people that earn their $250,000, $500,000, $750,000, etc. ring. And can't wait to see all of our names next to these, you know, graphics, hopefully next year. So it's a lot of really exciting stuff that's going on, and I'm glad that you all are here to be a part of it with us. A few little memes that I just love, and this really kind of gets me motivated, so I wanted to share a few with you. You know, you can't build an empire or a long-term future on short-term thinking. That's definitely true. Get up earlier, stay longer, work harder, fail again, never give up. Just like with anything in life, you're not going to get it perfect right away. So failing, learning from those failures is such a big part of anything that we do in life. And things don't always happen right. This is a cool little meme in the middle. when things don't happen right away, just remember it takes 6 months to build a Rolls Royce and 13 hours to build a Toyota. Nothing against the Toyota, but you know, there's a difference in quality of something that you build over a long time versus, you know, short and messy. So if you're going to quit anything, quit being lazy and quit making excuses and waiting for the right time. And, you know, I'm a big believer in only I can change my own life. No one can do it for me. So a few things I wanted to share with you. And, of course, in a week from now, the WealthWave Convention is coming. For those of you that want to know more, wealthwaveconvention.com is the direct link to find out all of the details. I screenshot just a few things for you. Last year was the All-In Convention. This year, on fire. So a lot of exciting stuff, and me and Mike will be there, and a lot of your leaders and a big chunk of our team. So if you're close to Las Vegas or if you're going to make the trip, we would love to see you. Let us know if you're going so we can get together. And there is definitely a schedule for the event. There's going to be leader breakouts. There's going to be guest speakers. There's meetup opportunities. So definitely check out wealthwaveconvention.com for additional information about that. And that's pretty much all I have. I'm really, really excited to see Mike's presentation. He always works really hard on the stuff that he puts together for us, and it's very much appreciated by me and I know the rest of the team. So without further ado, let me go ahead and grab him. Bear with me just for 1 second. Thanks.
All right, guys, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Got a little bit of a low attendance today. Got some people that are sick, and quite honestly, guys, this is kind of a weird time for a meeting. I understand that. There's just so many other company meetings going on. This was the place in the week that we could really fit this in. So if you are building an organization, we send the recording out via email. We post in the Team Prosperity group, and I post on the YouTube channel. So get your people into these recordings because there's some good stuff that we go over that will help them build their business. One of the things that's going on right now that I'm really excited about that's coming up very, very quickly is the new CRM CMS switch. So you've got, WealthWave coming with Virtual Financial, the new CMS, and then we'll redo the Virtual Financial University. If you guys haven't been around for a while, Virtual Financial University is going to be a hub where they can learn all the tiers, so you don't have to explain them. They can stop, start, rewatch, watch at 2 a.m. if they want. It's going to be there to help you guys, just like the YouTube channel, take a little pressure off of you guys in terms of having to deal with all of that. That way you get to concentrate on fostering business relationships, training, supporting your team, and making things happen. So a lot of good things coming up. Don't be overwhelmed when new things get introduced. Take some time, digest it, study it. It'll become second nature. Just like everything else in life, when something's new, there's a lot of resistance at first, and it becomes normal for you. So just hop in. We'll have company training, team training, and individual training as needed. Just a quick review of what's going on right now. Don't forget about the point multiplier for the first quarter, Q1 of 2019. If you are having business coming in, January, you can multiply those points by 1.8, almost double. February, 1.35, and March, 1.2. So if you're working on, that rolling 90-day for senior vice president, you're working on base shop bonuses, whatever it is that you're working on, don't forget to take advantage of Q1. Work hard during this because you get a little extra for your efforts. Also, don't forget the basketball tournament has started. Once again, guys, it's just a way to take the monotony out of building this business and, bring a little fun into the environment. We also talk about the fact that you can be here for 2 years or 1 day. You can still compete. Direct partner hires, 2 points. Standard track exchange acceptance is 1 point. Fast track is 3 points. And it'll run till right about the end of the Final Four, April the 7th. And $100 gift card goes to the winner. If, Alana and I win, obviously we'll give it to the second place person. We didn't keep track of our score last year, but we are this year, just kind of give you guys more of a competitive fire to get going. And this is where we're at right now. It's early, but you can kind of see we've got, points across the board. These are people that are having activity so far. Just keep piling up the points. Have fun with this. Like I said, it's just a way to get out of the trenches for just a minute and bring some type of entertainment to the build-out process. Also, 12-week year, we're in, this is week 3. We're going to have week 3 of the WHAM groups coming up. 12-week year is not about making resolutions. It's not about anything other than creating a time management system that coincides with our business system to give you basically everything that you need to go out there and build something incredible. Also change your life, not from a business standpoint only, but also from a personal standpoint. It doesn't matter, professional, personal. If you learn how to intertwine the 12-week year into what you're trying to make happen, things become a lot easier, and this becomes, like I said, second routine nature, and all of a sudden you are accomplishing more than what people accomplish in a year in 12 weeks, and that'll put you on a path towards destroying your competition. So the week in review, this is stuff that has come up this past week. I just wanted to review with you guys questions from you guys or issues that you've had. First thing we want to talk about is calling. Calling is not optional here. Everything else that we do, social media, email marketing, all of this stuff funnels down into lead creation, but you got to use the phone. If you're not using the phone and you're not trying to resolve leads actively on the phone, you're going to find that this is a very hard process to go through. And if you're bringing people in with very little communication or conversation, you're not going to find the people that are the aggressive types that are going to make your business explode. You know, people hate rejection, and that causes people to resist, and that fuels call reluctance. If you start making calls every day, it's going to be easy to make calls. If you don't make calls for a long period of time, that phone's going to feel very, very, very heavy. You're not going to change anything until you change something you actually do on a daily basis. And going back to what we were just talking about, the 12-week year is the fuel that you throw on the fire that really gets this going. Okay, so if you have weekend appointments, either for you as an inviter, a manager, consultant, whatever it is, or Monday. So the weekends and Mondays are prime time for people to have, statistically speaking, very low show rate. So what you can do to help yourself out and help your organization is confirm weekend and Monday appointments. This is going to help your show percentages. If I've got a Monday appointment and you call me on a Saturday to remind me about it, I'm going to be happy that you called. It's just a filter, guys. If somebody gets upset about you calling them during the weekend to remind them about a Monday appointment, not the right person anyway. So remember, confirm will bring your show rates up. The higher the show rates leads to production, leads to organizational growth, a lot of great things. Also, if you had to pick, or if I had to pick out one spot in BFG Pro that I really would like you guys to concentrate on, it's the social marketing system. There's your landing pages in there, so you can see a good idea of some of the landing pages that you have, all types of videos, tutorials, samples. This is a main section that you need to kind of go into, get lost, and start learning. Because like I always preach to you guys, it's activity and education. If you combine both of those things together, then you're going to get better and better and better, not only for yourself, but you're going to be able to pass that knowledge, that work ethic, down to your generations below you, and that fuels organizational growth and gets you to where you want to go a lot quicker, which is the ability to step away from this with a cash flow asset that pays you a lot of passive income. Videos are the 100%, there's no competition. Videos are the best way to build the know, like, and trust the fastest. Now, I'm not talking about the videos that we send out. Those are great. I'm talking about personal videos. So it's uncomfortable, but we need to start being comfortable with being uncomfortable. People, when they see you, when they hear you through the videos, it's much more personal. And if you look at some of the marketers out there, for instance, Gary Vee, I just saw a video he put out the other day. Just look how you rolled out of bed. So don't think that you have to put on your best clothes and makeup for the women, suits for the guys. It's just about being real. People will gravitate towards people that are real. And in this day and time with digital marketing, if you can build an audience and get to know them through video marketing, you're going to find that your conversations get a lot more personal, a lot more warm. People start gravitating towards you, and your reach starts to extend out greatly. LinkedIn. I was asked about LinkedIn this week. So if you want to look at the LinkedIn, when you go to the search bar up top and you're looking for entrepreneurs, marketers, insurance agents, real estate agents, whoever you're trying to connect with, those are second connections. So you want to put second connections, and you want to make sure they stay in the U.S. You don't have to explain to people in foreign countries why we're not doing business there yet. It's just a waste of time for both sides. Now, on the other side, once you have a large audience, once you've got thousands of people in your audience, it's a great way to go through and do the same exact thing. Who in my audience is an insurance agent, real estate agent, marketer, entrepreneur? And that way I can group those people, and then I can start sending targeted messages to them. If I've got one message that's specific to insurance agents, and I can go in, search for insurance agents, list my first connections, all I've got to do is just go down the line and just blast off messages to them. Now, these are not direct sales messages or direct recruiting messages. It should be messages that start to get a conversation open and dialogue started. That's really what you're looking. Don't cram stuff down people's throat when they're already a first connection. Start to open conversation with them, build value, and start a relationship that can lead to those videos being sent out, maybe some networking opportunities between the two sides. Also this week, a few of you guys have asked, the Tier 4 and the Tier 6, that launch campaign. The launch campaign is designed, at a base level to help your new partners understand how to use the CRM, how to use the contact scripts, the ABCs, all of these things that are base level knowledge that you need. It's the manager's responsibility in between these two appointments to stay on top of these people. Make sure that you offer them, some motivation. Make sure that you walk them through the process and make sure they're actually doing this stuff. So if somebody starts a launch campaign and then over the next 48 hours you see no notes coming from them and you've been entered as a manager, that's a problem. If somebody is unwilling to at least go out to an inner circle or warm market and open up a conversation, it's going to be very, very tough for you to go out into the jungle of social media, cold marketing, and be someone that's going to stand out. So this helps you get through the learning process, feel a little bit more comfortable. Outside of that, if you get a sale for a product, maybe an upgrade, new insurance, you get a interview coming out of that for a partner, it's going to give your new partners a lot more excitement. It could create revenue and income, and that's going to fuel them to further put more names in there. So like I said, at a base level, you're just learning how everything works. Over and beyond that could be revenue, income, partner growth. It's very important that we understand the importance of this, not only from the new partner's job, but also the manager's job. Manager's job is so important, guys, especially in the first 30, 60, 90 days, because we're not in an office. We're not meeting every day. We're not having 8 meetings every day, which is great. We're not listening to each other's phone calls. So if you're not providing the connection between the new partner and Virtual Financial, there's going to be a drifting process. If they drift too far, they're going to end up quitting. Now, you can't push somebody to be aggressive. You can't push somebody to have a work ethic. You can't push somebody to share your vision. But you can push somebody to have activity. And if they're unwilling to have activity in the beginning, it's just a leading indicator and a filter. They're not going to be successful in this business because like we've talked about in the previous weeks, talking between us is one thing. Talking to the outside market is another thing. The outside market, our business is about financial literacy. How does money work? From inside, when you talk to each other, especially in the beginning, getting your business off the ground, your business is about contacting people, whether it be for the product side, the business side. It's about opening conversations, getting out material, and getting feedback from that material. I know you guys are probably sick of seeing this. It's one of the largest markets I've ever seen, so I'm going to continue to kind of push it on you guys because statistical analysis says that if you're out there talking to people, opening up conversation, there's a good possibility you're going to uncover upgrades, meaning people that bought traditional terms within the last 10 years or so that still can medically qualify for a new policy. If I'm paying $100 a month for traditional term insurance and you approach me and let me know that I'm probably holding obsolete insurance and what you can do without me having to do anything, not go to an office, you're not coming to my house, quick 5-10 minute screen share, I can tell you if you are affected and if you qualify for the additional benefits and monthly savings. We kind of compare it to a car. You've got a baseline Honda, and I can get you into a Mercedes with all the options for the same price. Probably interested in talking with me. This is an such a huge market, guys. You can make millions and millions and millions of dollars through an organization if you effectively know how to get to this marketplace, educate them without being a sales approach, coming from a public service announcement. Like I said, it's the products will sell themselves. It's your job to get out in front of people, going back to what we just talked about. Contacting people about the business or about the products will put money in your pocket. Sitting back and waiting on somebody to contact you is a sure sign to be, not successful in this business and not make money. Couple things, and we've talked about this before. So if you're new, you want to make sure that you understand, and as your partners come in, understand basic technology. So I need you guys to do two things coming in. Learn how to open up a screen share and effectively use that screen share. And I need you guys to learn how to do a three-way call. So if you don't know how to do these things, get with somebody in your organization and practice. Because if you're coming to me with a business opportunity representing a technology company that's disrupting a very large industry, you can't do a three-way call. You can't do a screen share. It's going to put, doubts in my head about, your ability, the company's ability. So remember, your first impression in a digital environment is not going to be the clothes you wear, the smile, your haircut. It's going to be your command of simple technology and your organization, your verbiage, the way you speak, the inflection in your voice, all of these things that you have to master early on. Start with being able to do a screen share and a three-way call. That's a must. Also, contact versus no contact. This came up this week, and I just wanted to share with you guys because it's a valid question. So if somebody on the tier 1 script, when you sent the videos out to somebody and you get back in front of them, they answer the phone and they have not watched the videos. You reschedule the follow-up, stress the importance of those videos as being prerequisites. The next time around you get back in front of them, actually talking to them, they have not watched the videos. That's when the system says go ahead and close the file from our end, leave it up to them. I usually say, hey, I'm closing it from my side. You get around to watching these videos, and there's something in there that you need to talk to me about, feel free to call back, but from my side, I'm closing it. Now, that doesn't mean that if you send the videos out and you're not able to get in contact with the person, that you call them twice, leave 2 voicemails, and you're done. That's not what we're talking about. That's where the communication follow-up schedule comes into play, because honestly, guys, if you look at the leads that I resolve, it's usually around the 5th to the 8th follow-up, and that's right around statistical analysis of what it should be. And those 5th to 8th follow-ups are not resolutions for dumping leads. A lot of those are, but those 5th to 8th follow-up attempts are getting partners in, are getting products sold. So don't forget, don't just give up if you're not talking to these people. Just because someone doesn't answer the phone, doesn't reply to an email, doesn't mean that they're not interested. We're all busy. There's a flood of information coming to us at hyper speed these days. A lot of people are overwhelmed. How many emails do you get a day? How many voicemails? How many texts? So you want to stay on top of these people, and that's really the determining factor. Are they answering the phone or are they not? If they are answering the phone, yeah, those 2 times. If they're not answering the phone, you've got a complete communication schedule that you need to follow. And that's where, this is just diagrams this out. And, from my personal experience, contact 5th to 8th right here is a lot of times where I find resolutions for the leads. That communication schedule that I created for you guys, use it, don't use it, make your own, but have a systematic follow-up to get in front of these people. That includes phone calls, voicemails, text, emails, social media messages. You want to get to them in the preferred method of communication. Allow them to respond back in their preferred method of communication. So once again, if you're not using the phone and you're just going behind the keyboards, you're going to find it's going to be a very difficult process. Remember, if you leave it up to other people, nothing's going to happen. You can't just sit around and expect the other side to start calling you. We're not giving away money here. This is a business opportunity for partners. This is a product opportunity for clients. You've got to be the aggressive one. You've got to go out there and realize that if you're going to change your life, you're going to build a business that's going to give you the standard of living that you're looking for, can't sit on your hands and wait for it. You got to go out in that marketplace and aggressively market, aggressively follow up to resolve leads. We always talk about dumping a lead because of non-communication is not the same as dumping a lead because you actually resolved it. If you create and resolve enough leads, you're going to find what you're looking for. A lot of you guys, the problem is the front-end funnel, and we're going to start to work on that in the coming weeks. If you're only generating a few leads a month, well, all of a sudden you put a lot of value on those leads and, things don't materialize. If you're creating a lot of leads per month and resolving those, then you don't put so much value on a lead, and it's just going through the numbers. And all of a sudden you're going to find when you direct people to what you need them to do, it'll either do whatever they want, and then that way that you'll be able to go forward and concentrate and spend time on the people that are actually worth it. Another thing that came up this week, production versus distribution, especially with people in insurance. They can't flip that mindset. It's kind of like that immediate income that comes from producing, taking a lead, converting it to a sale versus the long-term view of distribution. So we always kind of talk about it, the tortoise and the hare. The producer will most likely, most all the time, compared to somebody building distribution, jump out to a much faster start with income. But what you'll find is over time, the person building distribution catches up and then far surpasses that person with producing. There is nobody out there, the best insurance agent in the world, cannot build a book of business that can rival what nationwide distribution of financial services can build. So yes, sometimes distribution is a slow start, but if you stick with it, then you will create something that far surpasses what a producer can do. And don't forget, that producer is locked into a wheel, converting leads into sales forever, no real endpoint. At some point, they're going to feel like, I'm done with this industry, probably got a book of business that will gradually deteriorate because there's no new business, pay some residual, and they're done. This cash flow asset will continue to grow and produce a lot of passive income that combines the three things that we're trying to get for you guys: lifestyle freedom, time freedom, and financial freedom. If we can wrap that trio up, you can have an amazing life for yourself. Also, a little bit of product things. I'm going to try to, I know not everybody's a consultant, but I'm going to try to intermix some product knowledge into these meetings. Not a whole lot. I'm not going to go too deep. This week, a couple of questions about what's the difference between IUL and whole life. Well, there's several differences, but the real difference for me and the real difference when I'm talking to somebody is, how do I get my money? And that really is the determining factor when you look at any type of an investment vehicle. How do I access my money? Well, the Transamerica IUL, the first 10 years that you need a loan, it's preferable if somebody can get into an IUL and not need any money for 10 or 15 years. That's really where the policy is going to mature. But if they need a loan in the first 10 years, they're going to pay an interest rate of 0.75. From year 11 on, they're basically paying zero interest loans. Now, when you look at most whole life policies, it's different because they are charging you an interest rate, whether you are extracting cash out of that policy or whether you are actually using the cash value in the policy to pay the premiums. They're charging you an interest rate, whether it be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%. That's your money. Why do you want to pay interest to borrow your own money? You have to understand how that doesn't make sense. So that's really a determining factor when I look at certain products. How do I get my money? How do I access my money? What's the limitations? And what is the other side, the company, doing to keep my money? If they're charging me an interest rate on my own money, that's not really going to work out too well. So let's go through a little bit of what's going on with Virtual Financial and how we can help you guys start to, like I said, over the coming weeks, generate some more leads. Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to understand, what does your product or business do? What does it solve? Whether it's a product or whether it's the business opportunity, you got to know, what does this solve? Well, for the potential partner, we talk about that. For the potential client, we talk about what the product does. You need to be able to, in a clear, concise, articulate way, get that information over to the other side where they understand it. If you're talking in insurance jargon or things that they don't understand, they're going to shut down. So explain it to somebody like they were a child. Make sure they understand it. Make sure they understand the information that you're relaying back, and give them a chance. Don't just talk for minutes on minutes. Stop, pause, ask if they understand, ask if they have questions. And this really comes to, what do we do here? What are we trying to do here? Well, when you look at the open marketplace, what's going to motivate your audience? Well, there's two things that can motivate your audience: feeling good, pleasurable experience, or avoiding pain. So it's the carrot versus the stick. And in this, day and age, it's the stick that's going to get people really noticing what you're doing on the product, the business side. avoiding pain is a much, much, much stronger motivating factor for people. So look for the pain points that you can solve. Like I said, whether it's a product or the business, because not everybody, for example, on the business side, not everybody can envision themselves as being rich, walking up to their own plane or having an expensive car or a big house. A lot of people, for whatever reason, are locked into a mentality where they don't think that's possible. What they do think possible is being poor, living on Social Security, not having any money, having to sell the house that they grew up in to get an apartment because they can't afford it. These are the type of things that are going to motivate your audience to take action, not so much becoming rich. That's, a big part of, internally what we talk about, building this fabulous business. It's going to pay you a lot of passive income. But to the open marketplace, what are you doing? What's your plan to avoid, you falling into the rest of these masses? So remember, the stick works over the carrot a little bit better. And just what we're talking about, it's not so much about becoming wealthy, but it's about the weight of becoming, impoverished, having a poor life for decades to come. That's a really scary factor for me. Sure, it's a scary factor for you guys. That's one of the reasons that we work hard. And that's one of the reasons that the outside marketplace is looking for opportunity. It's not so much to become ultra wealthy, but it's to avoid maybe what's happened to their friends, their family members, or really society as a whole as they look around. And, getting rich is not a fantasy. If you have a plan of action, you stay dedicated. But once again, we're not really talking about that. When you talk about what we look at, 76% of the people live paycheck to paycheck. Half don't have any money for retirement. Almost half don't have $400 for an emergency. People don't know how to make money. Fewer know how to keep it. And almost no one knows how to multiply it. So if you're out there with your marketing, that's going to get people interested. Do you want to fall into the masses and live, poverty? Or do you want to take a stand? Do you want to draw a line? Do you want to start creating something for you and your family that can avoid the problem that you see that is a huge problem in today's society? And if you need backup, the American Dream Sticker Shock that comes from WealthWave, that PDF that I post in the Facebook group, you can look through that. $137,000 is the American Dream. When you add it up, it goes through there. It shows you the breakdown. Most American families are not making $137,000. Most are making a lot less. So what can they afford on $65,000 a year? Well, can they afford half the American Dream? Is that really what this country is all about? A subset of the American Dream? No, it's about going out there and living a lifestyle that you would envision for you and your family, you want to provide. And then as you get a little bit deeper into this business, now it goes beyond that. And you're talking about creating a legacy, money passed down through generations. So this is a turnkey business system. It's very easy to follow. It is a plug and play, meaning that you don't have to come up with anything. Everything is laid out for you. You just have to follow a system. It's predictable in terms of what will happen, the different outcomes, and it's profitable. If you learn to work this business correctly, it becomes profitable. And then at a certain point, like we always talk about, main reason I'm here, to walk away at some point and have a nice cash flow asset that pays me for decades. We are first digital marketing organization. It's very, very important. Being first matters. If you look at the history of, innovation, technology, disruption, being first is a big, big deal. But also being first, you can't just sit on your hands, slow down or stop, because if you look at, for example, the late 90s, early 2000s, the NASDAQ bubble, the technology bubble that came out, a lot of companies that were first, they didn't do enough to keep their competitive advantage, to keep that lead. They slowed down, and they ended up having competitors catch them and surpass them. So you want to put your foot on the pedal and really gas this thing over the next 24 months. It's long-term. This is something that is a long-term viable option to a lot of people's problems. Whether it be retirement, whether it be savings, there's a lot of different things that this business can help out with. But if somebody has a short-term mentality, they're not a good business partner. So you need business partners that understand what it's going to take to build this business. That's why we're not bringing people in on false pretenses. I need a 5-year commitment at least. Some people say, yes, I'm willing to give you 5 years. Then 5 to 7 weeks or a few months later, they are, calling it quits. Whatever. We have filters on the front side. We have filters inside the business for partners that are hired to get rid of the weak, to get rid of the people that aren't willing to do what's necessary to become successful. Your marketing diversification. If you have zero marketing money, you need to learn how to be crafty in this marketplace. You constantly need new eyes and a new audience. You need to develop multiple channels, and you need to learn how to massage the relationship with the product or the opportunity, not shoving things down people's throat, but being interesting, putting out material that people want to read, that they share, that they comment on. Once you become interesting, what you're going to find is that people start to open up conversations with you. And one of the things I've started doing recently is I've just made a decision. I originally wanted to keep my personal Facebook page just really, personal, just a few people in there. Now I've decided to open it up and use it as a marketing asset. And that's really where Facebook groups come into play. So I had, just a couple of Facebook groups. I had our Team Prosperity group and a couple other ones that I had. I had my Entrepreneur Hub business page. But outside that, wasn't doing a whole lot on Facebook. But what I've done recently, and I think this will work for a lot of you guys, especially if you have no marketing money coming in, it's just a step-by-step guide to go from indirect giving away stuff. Now, I'm not talking about giving away product. I'm not talking about giving anything really that will cost you money. I'm talking about those articles that you normally post, the memes that you normally post, comments that you normally would put into something that you enjoyed reading or looking at. That's how you're going to create conversations. That's how you're going to create interest, and that can flow back to direct marketing. For example, you got a Facebook business page, you're in a Facebook group, and you lead people to that Facebook page. Well, now all of a sudden, now you've got your business information. Now you've got your videos. Now you've got a way to directly market to those people by, first of all, going through an indirect channel. So let me show you guys how this is going to work. So I started this week, entering into or requesting to join a new Facebook group every day. And so over the last few days, I put on a few Facebook groups, and already the process has started to work a little bit. Through a Facebook group post, what happened was I got, and guys, I post these on multiple mediums, so I just want to take the guy's name out for privacy issues, but I got a friend request. Now, I don't know the guy, so I want to make sure this is not a bot or this is not some kind of BS. I want to make sure this is a real person. They're really interested in interacting with me. So I said, hi, after the friend request, I received your friend request. I enjoy connecting with like-minded people. How did you find me, or what prompted the request? Thanks, and look forward to connecting, Mike. So I want to make sure, this person is real. It's not a bot, and it's not some arbitrary attempt to spam me. So now the guy writes back, thanks for making me part of your connection. I saw you on the group. Then I went through your profile and promptly became a follower. I can learn from you on my way to be a well-renowned entrepreneur. So now this tells me it's a real person. They're interested in interacting with me. Now I said, great. I confirm the request. Have a productive day. Let me know if I can do anything for you. Sure, delighted to hear that. You're a too courageous personality. Not sure what that means. But this is how you're going to drive conversation, drive interaction if you have zero marketing money. Now, if you have marketing money, talk to me because I'm going to help you deploy it, put it to work. Don't just blindly throw money at marketing if you don't know what you're doing, because you're going to find that it's a waste of money. You need to be strategic in how you place your dollars. But once again, if you have no money, this is the era of big data, social media platforms. You should not be stuck in a small cycle of lead creation. There should be enough opportunity to go out there and talk to a great number of people. So this is a 30-day challenge I want to give you guys. Join one Facebook group every day for 30 days and start posting stuff that you would normally post on other mediums into the Facebook groups and see what happens. Don't just join a group to join a group. Make sure it's a group you actually want to join. So if you are a female and your message is, being a female entrepreneur in the 21st century, or you are an advocate for financial literacy for females, that's a group that you can join. If you want to join an entrepreneur group, insurance group, marketing group, diversify yourself a little bit, post in there. And I'm not talking about posting about virtual financial. I'm not talking about posting ads. I'm talking about posting regular stuff that's interesting that people want to see or read, and that will fuel conversation and friend requests from the other side. Minimize this a little bit. So this is really where you're going to go. You guys may know how to do this, you may not. So up top here is the online business. So that's what I was searching for. You can search for anything you want. Once you're in that search bar, over here, groups is going to list all the groups that are associated with that keyword. Now, from that point, you can go through. Obviously, the more members somebody has in a group, probably the better to join. but join some groups that you would legitimately want to be a part of and start interacting with those groups. You know, the Google alerts that we set up that give you the advertisement or give you the articles that you can post, the memes that you guys normally post. Just take it and start interacting in groups and watch what happens. And this is also another example. So insurance agents right here. And then we go to the groups, and we find all these groups that are specifically about insurance agents. That's another great group to go into. You want to diversify yourself and make sure that you're getting into enough of the right groups. Now, some of these groups, guys, are for material, for interaction. Some of these groups were designed just to kind of put your links out there, put your advertisements out there. Now, I'm not saying don't join those, but if you join all those, you're going to find that the interaction is not there. So join a few of those, but a majority of the groups actually get into things that are having people ask questions, interact with each other, and push people towards, you know, whether it's entrepreneur, marketing, insurance, whatever it might be. So side notes, these are some things that just we want to go over real quickly. And really, when you look at this, it's not a question of enough. It's a zero-sum game. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Whether or not, you know, we all quit tomorrow, you know, there's going to be money transferred from the traditional model to the digital model. And when that happens in a very large industry like this, there's a tidal wave of money on the move. You have a chance to go out there and capture huge amounts of market share here. So we're taking a huge industry where big companies have dominated with a stale model for decades. The digital environment has paved the way for the entrepreneurs like us to take market share. Money transfer, like I said, from traditional to digital, and from the producer to the entrepreneur. If this was a job or this was a business about being an insurance agent, 0% chance I would be here. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have been for my entire life. I saw this as an opportunity to take a very big industry, change the way that business is done, and I know that if I stick with this, I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to be richly rewarded for it. Also, guys, great companies, they grow. So when you're out there, well, you know, in a recruiting model or a model where we are headhunting or trying to hire people, there's a misconception. I'm not trying to hire everybody. On the contrary, that's just a waste of time, and you're going to run yourself ragged and me ragged. We hire, but the difference is people that we hire are willing to tie their income 100% to the revenue growth of this company. It's a great opportunity if you understand what that means, but you've got to make sure that you're hiring the right people. So we want to hire. Yes, we definitely want to hire. We also want to invest. If you have money, invest it into marketing. If you don't have money, invest your time into marketing. And you also want to be able to advertise. Advertising doesn't mean, like we talk about, just always peppering people with direct advertisements. Advertising means advertise yourself. We talk about you are a brand. You're a brand first, and then Virtual Financial is a brand secondly. People are going to buy into you and then buy into your company. So make sure that you understand these three pyramids right here are going to create a nice growth pattern for yourself and your business. The evolution of a business partner. If you are a manager and you are unwilling to take calls from people, work with people, nothing's ever going to materialize. You have to realize that just like when you came in, you had no idea what was going on. People are going to need their hand held. And then after a while, they're not. And they're going to have questions. They're going to coach and mentor them. And then eventually, through this process, you do this correctly, you're going to get independent agency owners, leaders out there that are doing their own thing, that don't need you. Of course, you have a business relationship, probably a personal relationship. But through the process of this, you're going to create something where you don't have to have heavy-handed activity in their base shops and their super bases, and you're going to be able to take a percentage of that income. Also, guys, when somebody says, oh, that person got lucky because they got successful in business, they don't realize the blood, sweat, and the tears that was put behind that. Most people are not going to be successful because they're just unwilling to show up. That's half the battle. A rhythm of activity over X period of time is how you find success. That just starts with showing up. So you've got two guys. One guy's staring at a slot machine. The other guy's actively playing it. Who has a better chance of hitting a jackpot? Well, of course, the guy who's actively playing the slots. So start with showing up. If you build a organization that's based around accountability and based around a positivity that everybody's feeding off of and fueling, then it is a environment that will be breeding success for you and other people. All right, so, where's your line? Whether you're talking to a partner or whether you're talking to yourself, what's going on here? You're gonna have to take a stand at some point, whether it's you or a partner, and say enough is enough. We go back to the carrot and the stick. Do you want to live the life that so many people in this country are living, where they're just getting by, not really even getting by, where one small life emergency will just cripple them financially? You're going to have to take control of your future. Do not settle like so many people in our society is settling. Also, you want to grade yourself. You want to grade yourself. You want to grade your organization. You want to grade your partners. And that's really, if you were a publicly traded company, what does your stock look like right now? Is it on a downtrend line? Is it kind of stalled out? Or, are you on an uptrend line? So if, you were a stock and there were stock analysts that were, paid to follow your company, what would they be saying about you and your organization right now? If they're not saying good things, you need to kind of give like a self-check and get yourself into a better position where, you understand what went wrong, what needs to happen, and how to correct those going forward. Once you're on the uptrend, you're going to find that things really start to fall in place. Challenge yourself each and every day. Just be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Yesterday, my calendar was packed from morning to night. So when I had to do my direct activity for my 12-week year, my numbers looked horrible yesterday. Now, I could have set up a 12-week year where all I did was managerial duties and just crushed it, made great scores every week. That's not fair. It's not fair to you guys, not fair to me. So I want to kind of be the example for direct activity. So this coming WHAM group, my numbers might be dramatically lower than they were, the past week. I've got a few days to correct that. Nevertheless, there's some days are going to be bad. Some days are going to be good. If you challenge yourself just to be a little bit better than you were yesterday, the compounding effect is really going to take hold. And this is not so much for the new people, but if you've been around for a while and you don't have the traction yet, you don't really have the organizational growth that you thought would be there, let's find out why. Talk to your managers, talk to your upline. What's going on? How can we help you? Because this is about to pop over the next 24 to 36 months. Are you in a position where you're going to be potentially left behind? If you are, let's get that corrected very quickly. And we've got just a couple of minutes. I want to share two things with you guys. Number one, if you're in my WHAM group, you've already seen this. This is what I started to do. This helps me. So I have my weekly goals and I have my daily activity that I need to do. What I do each and every morning is I print out this same sheet. And then as things get checked off the list, as I send new connections, as I do all of these things, I just put hash marks or numbers beside those. So every time I have a 5 or 8 minute break, there might be something I can do. At 7 minutes before this meeting started, I went out and did a couple of things on this sheet. So it's compressing time frames, getting the most out of your day, extracting the most value you can, and that's going to be done from having something, for me, it works best, that I can always look at and check off the list. Because if you're wondering what to do, the day is already a failure. So understand what you need to do on a daily basis. Go out there and knock it out, and have a daily activity sheet, if it's necessary for you, like it is for me, that I can stare at all day long and get stuff checked off the list. And the last thing that we want to do here today is, I had, 12-week year. So this is how you score your 12-week year. Now, if you are not in a 12-week year group, you're not participating in the 12-week year, doesn't mean that you can't come up with goals for yourself, weekly plans, and daily activity sheets. But I'm trying to create social media build out and lead creation. What do I need to do? What got done on that week? And what were the scores? The grand total score for that particular goal for that week. Direct partner build out. This is direct activity. Like I said, I didn't want to cheat you guys or cheat the whole process by just doing managerial duties where I would knock it out of the park. So 12 partners coming in, how am I going to get those partners? Well, you're going to have the activity that you think leads to that end result. And you're going to have to score yourself. And I wanted direct production, not other people's stuff that I'm working on, but I wanted direct production involvement for a certain amount. Last week was a low score. Production, guys, sometimes goes in flurries. If you do what you need to do, then it'll come. So, sometimes people will, write up applications, and maybe it's a questionable, whether or not they're going to get approved. Maybe we don't take the conditional receipt. Well, that's really no revenue or income or points at that time. So if you do what you need to do on the activity, which is the tier 3s, the tier 5s, client sales, making the calls, this should all lead into what you need to do. And then overall, kind of like a diary, you're going to keep track. First week out of 57%. I made a note, hard to get organized with keeping data, made a daily sheet. Next week I got a 65%. I was just honest. It felt like I got a lot less done this week, but overall my score did rise. A lot of managerial duties in week 2 would help if I can get an extra hour in the morning. So this is just a self-reflection. What do I need to do for myself to make my scores go up? And overall, if you stick with this stuff, you do the daily activity, you reflect and get better, you're going to find the success that you're looking for. So guys, that is all I've got for today. If you have any questions that you want to, talk about right now, by all means, go ahead. Alana will unmute. If you need to talk about anything, marketing, growth, income goals, whatever it is that you want to sit down and talk to somebody about, we are always willing to talk to you guys. If you're working from your side, we're more than willing to make some time to talk to you guys.
Another great training by Mike Amos. I really enjoyed that. I hope you all did too. So let me go ahead and stop the recording, and then we can open up the floor for as long as we need to for questions. Thank you so much for everybody being here.